Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Batman, Night of the Owls. Take a look at this comic cover right here, which is a very nice cover, coming from issue number 7 of the Batman series. And for those of you that are reading the New 52 in trade or hardcover or just graphic novel form, Night of the Owls is the second volume kind of in the Batman series. Allow me to explain. Volume 1 is Court of the Owls, Volume 1. Then we have Night of the Owls, which is a collection of all the stories that cross over with Batman, along as the main Batman series. And then Court of the Owls, Volume 2. So it actually goes Court of the Volumes, Volume 1, Court of the Owls, Volume 1, Night of the Owls, and Court of the Owls, Volume 2. You're probably saying, well, Andrew, shouldn't it go Volume 1, Volume 2, and then Night of the Owls? Yes, it should, but it doesn't. Because the main series continues in this, despite the fact that you have all the tie-ins in here, and then it continues on into Volume 2. Try not to be confused. This isn't a companion book. This is a continuation of the main story. It just happens to have all the crossovers in it. So when you set up your timeline, I know a lot of people want me to do another Batman timeline, even though there's not enough for me to constitute a Batman timeline right now. You have Volume 1 of Court of the Owls, Night of the Owls, and then Volume 2 Court of the Owls when it does come out, which I don't think it comes out for another few months. So, anyways, story. So, where we last left off with Batman in Volume 1 of Night of the Owls, Court of the Owls, he barely survived the assault from the court. They have pushed his body, will, and spirit and sanity to its limit. But, of course, as Batman, he's going to find a way out. Because, again, of course, he's Batman. He does this stuff. So Batman's able to get out of the grips of the Court of the Owls and informs everyone to be on their tippy toes because the court are releasing all their talons to attack Gotham. Major figureheads in Gotham. And everyone better be ready because once the court sends those talons out, shit hits the fan. So that's the basic story in here. You have the main Batman story, which is issues 8 onwards, I want to say, 7 or 8 onwards. And then you have all the tie-ins from Nightwing to Batgirl, to Batman and Robin to Detective, to All-Star Western to Catwoman. Basically every Batman book minus Batwoman, but plus All-Star Western. And that's the basic gist of the story. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. It should also note that this does have the Batman annual in it, too, which deals with Mr. Freeze. Actually, the cover of it is on the back. Good. For one thing, all these tie-in stories are great. All-Star Westerns feels kind of out of place, and honestly, you could probably still skip it and still get the full immersion into the Night of the Owls. But all these stories are great. Well-paced stories. And what I really like is that a talent is sent to each of them, and the talents are all different. They all dress differently. They all have different personalities, backstories. There's a lot to them. And sometimes they're even dark reflections of the characters that they're sent to take out or that they fight, like William Cobb being the dark reflection of what Dick Grayson could have become. The art is, for the most part, across the board, really great. The only exception is the Bird of Prey comic, which the art in that I just don't care for. It's not my kind of cup of tea, for lack of a better term. But other than that, the art across the board is really good. There is this sense of urgency and intensity in these stories. And like I said, everything's paced very well. Bad. Number one bad is that this is kind of disorganized. For example, Nightwing, if I do say, Nightwing is the only crossover that happens to be, crossover to Batman that happens to have more than one issue. You have the main Batman series, which has the multiple issues, but Nightwing's the only one that commits to 2 issues in this series. But his issues are spread out in the book, or at least what I remember. And it feels like all the stories are disorganized, with Catwoman ending the comic. If you're not including the backups, because the backups to Batman is concluded, but I'm not going to count those. I'm just going to count the main stories, and Catwoman's the one that concludes this. It's a horrible lead-in to what will be Volume 2 of Night of the Owls, or Court of the Owls, in Volume 3 of Batman. So it could have been organized a bit better. And for a hardcover, although you're getting a lot of great material in here, at least 3 issues of Batman, Catwoman, Red Hood, Nightwing, 2 issues of Nightwing, Batgirl, Batman, Robin, Detective, All-Star Western, Batman the Dark Knight, and Batman's Annual. You get a lot of stuff. You're paying the $30 price tag, which is, to be fair, a decent price to pay for all those. However, the additional content is pretty lackluster. If you go to the end of the book, which I will do now, you get some nice sketches from all the different Talons, from all the different eras, and you get to see some concepts of them, including the bat suit design, the bat battle suit. But that's it, and it's only maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 pages worth. And to be fair, in the hardcover, I would have expected a little bit more in the back, maybe a history of the Court of the Owls or something along that lines. Something more to kind of, I don't know. We got the bread. The bread is good. It's like a Tuscan bread. Actually, it's sourdough. I love sourdough. Sourdough is my favorite bread. You have some nice sourdough bread right here. Look at this sourdough. But you don't have the butter to put on it. You need to put that butter on there. And I feel as though this is lacking the additional content that a hardcover really should have. Maybe I'm being overly critical because it's a Batman book, but hey, I expect some for my hardcovers. I'm paying the X amount of money more for a hardcover than I am paying for the softcover, the trade. And in addition to it looking just really nice, I want that additional content. A comic that pulled this off really nicely was the Justice League hardcover for Origins, which was great. It had a lot of nice nooks and crannies and stuff to read in the back. Uh, Putting that aside, despite its unorganized feel, Night of the Owls is a great read, and definitely something that I recommend you pick up, especially if you are, again, reading the New 52 in trade or hardcover. It is a necessity of sorts for Batman readers, because you can't go on to Volume 2 of Core of the Owls without reading this, because important stuff happens. Plot points happen. So it's important to pick up. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. And it's not necessarily because the stories are bad, because the stories are fantastic. I read these in individual issues. It's just the organization of the hardcover itself. So it's really more or less the presentation that hurts us rather than the content. But yeah, 4 out of 5. Night of the Owls, great read. It continues to show why Batman is the best of the New 52, and it is. Batman and, well, I mean, it's debatable what else. Swamp Thing, Wonder Woman, Justice League, but Batman is the best of the New 52, and this is the reason why. I'm going to end this review here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.